Hi.
Hey, how you
Hey,
doing?
Hello.
How you doing?
How are you ladies?
Good.
how are
I'm
you?
all right. I'm walking around New Orleans.
Ooh.
How's the weather there?
Oh, look, there are people.
I guess it's the same as Jackie has, huh?
Yeah.
Sorry, we had some questions written down and stuff. Um, I'm trying to repost this onto Facebook because it canceled the live link on Facebook.
Share it on my page because until I can get my computer up and going, my computer decided it was going to actually update while we were sitting there talking.
Oh my goodness, today? Yeah, I gotta love that. I
Uh-oh.
think he's trying to find a good spot to do it. He's trying to find a good connection.
You would think New Orleans had better connections on cell phones than it does, but it really doesn't.
They should.
Sorry.
Oh, I was like, what was that? I hear a child. I smell a child.
Hi.
Can you hear us good?
Everyone all right?
I think you keep freezing up on
Let
us
me
a
go.
little bit.
Oop.
uh,
See if I can get away from some of the noise.
Yeah.
think on thing.
Doo-doo.
It's not on Facebook. It canceled.
Do we have to do it over again?
No, I tried to and it won't let me.
Are we live?
No, only on
Because we're
YouTube we
not even
are.
on live.
We're on
We're not
YouTube.
even on. I'm
It
looking on
says we are.
Facebook.
No, I'm saying we're not on Facebook. We're on YouTube.
Ah,
It canceled the YouTube, the Facebook thing. If you wait 10 minutes, it'll cancel it.
it canceled Facebook and put us on YouTube.
Yeah, because I clicked on it again, but we'll fix it. Oh, I got a thing I can do, I think. Can you hear us now? I can hear you breathing, so I think you got a good connection now because I hear you breathing.
Who? Me?
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
walking around. I'm trying to get back towards the shop where I can actually connect the Wi-Fi.
Okay, yeah.
Doo-doo-doo-doo. Hi.
Hi.
Oh, let's see.
I said the connection's getting much, much better.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, good. All right, it should hop over to Wi-Fi here in just a second. I'll go sit in the courtyard or something.
Now, where are you actually from? Like, where were you, like raised? Because your accent's not exactly right.
What accent?
Exactly.
Okay,
You mean where was I boned?
Yeah.
Where was I boned?
Where was you
Yeah.
born at?
Indiana.
Okay, but so your
Oh,
accent
well.
wasn't kicking. What
You know that
Why, you
stinks
think
that
everybody
Crystal's
walk
not on
around
here,
saying
man.
share?
Yeah. Our other girl that couldn't make it today, she had an emergency. Is from Indiana. She probably would have been excited to know that. She
Oh.
probably does
She would
know
have
that,
been
I bet.
one less Southern person on.
Yeah. So everyone who's watching, when they start watching, now that I just got it up on, I got it up on Facebook. This is Papa Czar. He lives in New Orleans. He's not from there, I guess, unless he claims to be from there. But he lives in New Orleans or New Orleans, Nolans, however you want to say it.
Nowlin.
No.
Nola.
It's not Nolans, and it's not New Orleans. It's New Orleans.
New
Wrong.
I'd
Orleans.
say Nola and get it over with.
No.
The only time you say New Orleans is if you're rhyming it in a song.
Yeah, but what if you want to rhyme it with something that rhymes with, well, lens? I guess
So-
it depends on what kind of words you want to use. Right? So we have some questions written down that we have a lot of like exciting questions to ask you.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll let Eileen, you want to go first, Eileen? And I'm going to share this out.
I'm about to say, make sure you share it to me because working on my phone, I'm having a little difficulty.
Okay.
But no, I just want to kind of know a little bit more about the information he wants us to know about first before we start drilling him.
Gee, let's see. Information that I want everybody to know.
Yeah, before we start
I'm
pulling that stuff
openly
out.
gay, I'm openly voodoo, and I'm openly vampire. If any of those things,
That's a
any of
good
those things
start.
bother you, don't try to be my friend.
You
That's
might
a
not
good
want to watch
start.
the podcast then, right?
Hey, Denise. Hey, Travis and Sarah. Hey, Howard.
So now, I've read a little bit about your background. So for the people who don't know, when did you find out that you did need blood to kind of get through things or survive or whatever the word I'm looking for? I don't know what to say.
Found out I was a sanguine vampire when I was 11 years old. So that's when I found that particular piece of information out. Understand it wasn't, yay, I'm a superhero. No. By 11, I had already figured out I was starting to like boys, not girls. By 11, I already figured out I didn't like sports. I liked doing things like cooking. So I was the antithesis of every boy in my family. So to me, it was just, oh shit, here's one more thing to make me different from the rest of the people.
But I said that has to be like tough to have all that coming on at the same time. I mean, finding yourself one way or the other at that age is tough enough, but trying to add everything else on top of it, I can't even imagine.
Oh Lord.
And depending on where you live and how your family is about your choices too.
Right-wing Christian conservative.
Oh, yeah.
I'm actually a PK.
Then you are very fortunate to be as well-rounded as you have turned out to be. Yeah.
I
know if
think
that sounds bad or not, but-
most PKs actually end up a little bit more well-rounded than a lot of people give them credit for. You know, being a preacher's kid growing up, it does tend to give you a skewed point of view. So if you can come back to center somewhere, it's always a good thing.
Yeah. I know several people that were preachers' kids, several people that walked the I guess the shadowed road of trying to come out of that and into their own.
Now, does your family at this point accept it? I mean, if I get too personal, let me know, but that's to my job. So does your family at this point accept everything? Did they start to accept you more throughout years and things like that?
Yes and no. They accept that I state I'm these things, but they don't want to believe those things. Like some of them think my being gay is just a fad and I'll go straight and have children and get married and all that kind of stuff later.
I mean, something tells me you probably found out more than at least 20 years ago you were probably gay, because you don't look like you're in your 20s, 30s at this point. So I think
50s,
that bad's over.
almost 60. Yeah.
But I think that fad might be a little past.
Yeah, a fad usually doesn't last a super long time.
No, doesn't usually last a super long time. So,
Or a curiosity, I guess you could call it too.
so, but like I said, they've accepted that I've stated these things, but they don't accept that they are the end all be all.
Yeah.
You know, under the mistaken belief that they can pray my gay away.
Mm. Yeah, that's how it
It don't
works.
work.
Natalie. Tim, Bridget, Ernie, Natalie. How much did influences have in your life? Tim asked.
What kind of influences? Just depends on what kind of influence you're talking about. Christianity really didn't have an influence in my world until I was probably in my 30s. Because when you go to church every week and they're preaching about something that is evil and that evil is part of your identity, like growing up hearing homosexuality was evil, it's of the devil and things like that, no, you tend to stay away from Christianity.
Yeah.
It didn't, until I became comfortable with me, Christianity didn't play a part in my world, not on a serious level. I did give it an honest try, but what's good about condemning yourself every day?
Nothing.
And if you dig into the myths and misconceptions about vampirism, that's a whole different world in and of itself. You got a lot of people that let things like Interview with the Vampire and all of the Anne Rice novels influence how they dress and act and move, and then you have in voodoo you have people that still believe that light-skinned people should not be a part of it. So there's a lot of things that could influence but don't influence. So my life is influenced by my need to perceive myself as doing good. So I do things like I feed the homeless and hungry. I work towards helping people heal.
Yeah, I
All
read
kinds
that
of things.
somewhere that during the holidays that all of y'all get together and go to, and I don't know, when I say all of y'all, I don't know how many, but get together and go feed the homeless.
Yeah,
Is it
Easter,
during the
Thanksgiving,
holidays?
and Christmas. Easter, Thanksgiving, and Christmas, the big 3 holidays.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Yep.
That
Which
kind of
more
leads
people-
to. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I have a question
go
that
ahead.
kind of like pertains to that. How many kinds, or are there classes, groups, covens, clans, and families, or kinds of vampires? Are there groups?
Ooh. Depending on who you ask, there's 3 main types of vampires.
Mm-hmm.
There's sanguine, which are the blood drinkers. There's psychic, which are energy drinkers. And then there's a combination of the 2. But if you actually look at it, there's only one real type of vampire, that's living vampire. All of us identify as actual living, real, honest human beings. We just have that one special little thing that we have to do to sustain ourselves a little bit more. Now, if you break it down into feed types, you have sanguine, psychic, pranic, tantric, elemental, emotional. So you have a number of different ways for vampires to feed. Some of us link in directly. Some of us kind of like surface skim.
Yeah. Like the essence of someone in some way. Kind of, yeah.
I mean, I know vampires that go to sporting events and concerts and parades just to feed off the crowd. That way they don't link into any one particular person.
Yeah. Or I feel like there's probably some that go to underground things like places like you have there that are open late at night.
No, not New Orleans.
Yeah. I have the other question I had written down was, where do vampires get buried nowadays?
Wherever they pay for the plot.
Okay. I know back in the day it said like they would go and they would like bury them a certain way because they'd go back in and make sure they were really dead, or make sure they were dismembered, or make sure that they were like had a stake in their heart or something like that. I didn't know if anybody still
depending on some of the older beliefs. Yes. The only place that I know that may still do that on occasion is places like Romania.
Yeah.
Where there's still an underlying fear, and I don't think fear is the proper word for it, but distrust, more a proper word for it, of anything that's considered supernatural or unnatural.
Yeah, probably because they also have all the other lore that surrounds lichens and Lugaroo and werewolves and stuff like that too there. And Vlad.
Got a little bit of everything there.
Yeah. And ghouls. I had another question, but I don't remember it and I didn't write it down. So I'll wait until I remember it.
Rosie, I'm going to jump off for 2 seconds and jump on my computer so I don't have to sit here and hold my phone and get a little back.
Here's a question from Tim. He says, what are your thoughts or views about Leviticus 17:10-14 laws against eating blood? I've never heard of that.
Here's one for you. Leviticus was the book of laws written for the Levites, the people who were meant to be prophetic leaders of the Jewish nations. They weren't meant for the whole of the Jewish community. So my book on those, I'm not a Levite priest, so it don't apply to me.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here's Eileen back. Welcome back.
I got hands.
Okay. Here's my question I forgot. Can you tell without physically seeing, can you feel and know there is another vampire present when you're around one?
Traditionally speaking, yes. I can tell when another like me is around. We used to call it the beacon. You could feel another's beacon.
Yeah.
I will admit they're few and far between, but yeah, I can feel when another one's around.
I know what you mean by that kind of. I think in like the medium world, that's kind of like the same thing. Like when you work with spirits and you're a spiritual beacon, sort of the similar thing. Like you can feel this weird feeling when you see somebody else, sort of, I guess. I mean, we don't drink blood, but we still use energy. Everyone has energy. Jackie, do you have questions? I know you do.
Are you the only one in your whole family that's a vampire?
I got a couple that I'm aware of, but they're not aware of it, so I don't enforce that on them. Everybody has to come to this realization on their own.
Yeah.
You know, I'll be there for them when they do come to that realization, but until they come to that realization, I'm not going to push it on them. We got enough people pushing things on them in the family, whether it's this religion or that version of that religion or any other thing.
So would there be some telltale signs or some kind of symptoms or some kind of like
a lot of vampires, even though we have day jobs, our circadian rhythm is more backwards. It's more nighttime oriented. During the day, we tend to move around a little bit more lethargic and a little bit more energetically disposed. Beyond that, we have a lot of people that just never really come to that conclusion, so they never really seek out that answer.
Okay. Like they just probably think, oh, I need to be an alcoholic instead or something, maybe, to get that feeling to go away that I'm not familiar with. I don't know.
Some people do unfortunately turn towards drugs and alcohol because it's something that nobody talks about. It's something that nobody brings up. The eventualities or the possibilities of even this.
I mean, because who would think? I mean, honestly, let me drink some blood and I'll feel better. If I mean, that's not something that we're taught. I mean, unless you have like
No.
So it's not something that would really just jump into your head.
True.
In most people, but
Mhm.
now when you're starting to, when you are feeding and all that, I know you do it based on willing participants. I did read up on that.
Donors.
Donors. I didn't know the right verbiage. Sorry. What is just like an average serving size, and like how often do you need it? I don't know the verbiage.
Depending on how physically and spiritually active I am, because of my voodoo path, I'm also spiritually active. But depending on how physically and spiritually active I am, it can be anywhere from 1 ounce to 6 ounces at a given setting, and sometimes 3 to 4 times a week.
Gotcha.
It doesn't take a whole lot, but
I don't know why. I'm just getting more questions as we're going.
I know,
Because my brain is waking up. I didn't drink all my cup of coffee before I did this. Yeah, I started drinking my coffee late. Do you have a certain type of blood or certain type of donor or a certain type of spirit, or a person that you have a specific craving for?
Think about this. For everything that's created, there's an equal opposite to it.
Mm-hmm.
Air and earth, fire and water.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there's an equal opposite to everything. Nature abhors a vacuum. So for everybody, it created a deficiency in, and using deficiency as a kind of blanket term. It created people with an abundance of. So all of my donors are generally drawn to me because they feel the need to donate versus me looking for, oh my God, I got to feed.
Yeah.
Now, when you've got the donors, do they become more like family to you, best friends to you? Like, what type of like personal relationship other than just the donations do you feel towards them?
Some of them are friends and some of them are family. It just depends on what they want to become in my world. It's another area that I don't push.
Mm-hmm.
If all you want to do is donate, we can be friends. If you want a little bit more than that, we can do that. I will say this. All of my donors are straight.
That you know for sure.
Trust me. There's a couple of them. If they would have been that way, things would have happened. But because they weren't.
I would say you're probably intuitive enough to realize if they were lying or not about it.
Yes.
You find there's more female donors than male donors, or vice versa, or equal?
Pretty much equal. It just depends on the vampire on what they pull.
Yeah, like your personality attracts your personality,
Mm-hmm.
sort of, or your energy kind of attracts your energy, sort of thing.
Because I'm more open and outgoing, I tend to attract more open and outgoing people. If a person's more secretive, they tend to attract more people that are secretive.
Yeah, I'm not secretive.
That's funny.
Hey, Jackie, is over there.
Huh?
I'm thinking of questions. Do you have any other kind of abilities?
Let's see. I'm a reader. I tend to do readings 5 days a week here at Voodoo Authentica. My specialties are in the spiritual side of things are healing and protection. So if I'm doing work for people, it's usually something along the lines of healing or protective work. But the best part of it is I get to sit here every day, and every day that I'm here at work and help people. So When I'm doing the readings, I tell people how to fix their own shit. I don't go, and for $1,500, I can take this bad thing away from you.
Yeah.
No, I give
Give
you
me your
I give you
car.
the tools. I give you the tools to fix your own stuff.
That's what
This has
healers are
earned
supposed to
me.
do.
This has earned me. Like I've got clients I've had since I started working here that just continue. Hey, you helped me with this problem. Can you help me with this problem now? So I have regular clients.
So for the people who don't frequent New Orleans like some of us, where is Voodoo Authentica? They could go.
It's
and
right in
see
the middle of the
you.
French Quarter. It's at 612 Dumaine. But I also do phone and Skype readings.
Awesome.
I stepped into the 21st century. Okay.
So you don't have to be at Voodoo Authentica to get a reading, in other words, right?
But I do highly
Yeah, you don't have to be.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, especially if you want to see we have more than 25 active altars in the shop where people from around the world come and pray at the altars. We have signature dolls. We have African artwork. We have Haitian artwork. So if they're really looking to have a little bit of an experience, coming in is a good idea.
I agree on that. I've been there. I like the place.
I want to go there sometime, hopefully in the near future.
I don't think Howard talks about anything else besides that place.
All because
Yeah,
of that
he
one
needs to be your
investigation. All because of that
Yeah.
one investigation.
And he wants to come back again.
Yes, he does. He talks about it all the time.
So
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Is a said vampire allowed to feed on another said vampire?
Understand, it will satisfy the craving if a sanguine feeds on a sanguine, but it won't actually feed the sanguine. Because if what we need is already missing in our blood,
yeah,
how is feeding on another person who's missing the same element going to do anything?
Yeah. I mean, if they got desperate, I guess. I didn't know if there was a code against it, maybe. Like, or if there's a competitive nature about it at all. Or
this
stigma.
is not Vampire the Masquerade. There is no Diablerie code, okay?
This is not Vampire Lestat or Armand. Do vampires get along with witches? That's a good question, too.
Well, considering my boyfriend's a witch, yes.
It kind of probably works very well together. Yeah. I would think it would.
It's whether people get along with people or not, because witches are people, voodoo people are people, vampires are people. It's how well that person gets along
So
with
you're
anybody.
not a vampire snob. If you're not a vampire snob.
Nah. I got people I don't like, just like everybody, but I still try to get along with them.
So what all do you you're a voodoo priest, correct?
I am a New Orleans traditional voodoo priest, yes.
What kind of training or education?
Family I grew with did not only initiations, but they started you off with an apprenticeship just to make sure that you were serious about following the path, basically. So generally, anybody who wants to learn from me, if they're serious about it, I'll offer them the apprenticeship. If they want to take the apprenticeship, great. If they don't,
then they get to be serious
Yep.
about it. Obviously, they're not. Yeah.
You know, because you got people that are out there that are just like, I guess the term would be title collectors. They want to be a priest of this and a priest of that.
Yes.
And I'm like,
those people drive me nuts, actually.
you know, I don't care about learning about different paths, but come on. If you're going to be a serious worker on any level, you have to be.
Work very hard for it.
And you can't devote all your time to so many different things. I mean, to an extent.
Oh, I mean, that's like the saying, "Jack of all trades, master of none."
I was just about to say that.
And you know, you're not mastering any particular path if you're collecting titles from all paths.
Yeah, because they're not as passionate about something if they're just a
Well, it's
title
not only
collector.
that; it's the people that do that tend to be the people that try to abuse the abilities and the tools of those
For power.
paths.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Power or the title of the power. Yep, I know. No people like that. Unfortunately, I know
Don't we all?
people really well. Yeah, they do stuff like that. I don't understand it because I'm not like that. I guess sometimes you have to just psychologically break it down. I don't understand people that are the opposite of me. I'd like to though. But do are there any communities in or outside of where you live that you know of, or churches or whatnot, that you tend to kind of stay away from because they're like scared of or against vampirism?
Again, there's an equal opposite to everything. Just like there's people that will bash gays, there's people that will trash vampires too.
Mhm.
So, yeah, there's people that I watch out for. Usually they're the ones carrying the big crosses through the city or the signs that say God hates and list off everything
Oh,
except
wow.
for straight white Republican conservative.
It's crazy. I'd have to say something to those people that think that they're God. I don't like that.
Or that think that God agrees with their philosophy of discrimination.
Yeah. What draws vampires to New Orleans?
It's kind of like the United States Mecca for vampires.
Yeah.
So it's all, think about it. New Orleans itself is 300 years old. Well, now more than 300 years old. But out of that 300 years, there's more than 275 years worth of vampiric happenings here in the city. So we have a history that's always been here. This is why people like Poppy Z. Bright and Anne Rice's books took off.
Yeah, the reason that I mainly came there the first time is because I was a big Anne Rice fan, and I just wanted to see the world that she talked about in real life, like with my own eyes. So I came there
Mhm.
because of that when I was like 18, I think.
So Rosie, when we make our trip to our tour little thing, then we're gonna have to go get Jackie, and then we're gonna actually have to go meet him.
I'm here.
We're planning a vampire tour to go to different places, like some places in Georgia, some places in Mississippi, and some places in Louisiana that are different sites for nowadays or just from different like movies.
Cool. So, like the originals, which was filmed
like
in Atlanta.
Or just different things.
Of course.
Huh?
The originals, even though it was set in New Orleans, was
Yeah.
actually filmed in Atlanta.
To my defense, though, the main reason is because all them guys were hot. I mean, come on.
I don't know. I look at it like beyond that, like the allure, like the allure, the mystery. It doesn't like I don't think, oh, they're hot. I think, man, oh my gosh, I just want to wrap myself up in the blanket of that.
But their looks kind
strangeness.
of
yeah, I guess.
Then you start watching it. But no, I'm picking. But they are hot. Now, when you arrived in New Orleans, were you already like practicing voodoo, or did you learn voodoo while you were down there? Did you get intrigued by it down there?
No, literally, I walked out of the pulpit and bumped into somebody in the middle of Howard County, Indiana, right in the middle of a cornfield that was doing something voodoo related. Things closed for me where I was and opened up mysteriously down here in New Orleans. So I came down to New Orleans and figured, while I'm down there, I'll learn about voodoo. Yay! Surely there's some
Yeah.
knowledge out there. Yeah, the best knowledge I found was at Berkeley in
Yeah.
California. But I was doing my own thing for like a year solid, and then this woman just came up to me and she said, "Your daddy done told me I got to teach you the right way now." And I was like, "I don't know who you're talking to. I ain't spoke to my dad." She said, "Not that daddy," and it sort of clicked. So one thing
Yeah.
led to another, and 34 years later, I'm still practicing voodoo.
So is she a priestess or like a medium, or she just knew?
She was a priestess.
Yeah, she just knew that you were for that. That was for you.
Yeah, just like I kept having certain types of dreams, so did she.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like to study dreams too. That's neat.
Was it like growing up, because you said you were about 11 when you found out, trying to find a donor like through middle school, through high school, things like that?
Well, I was very lucky because the original incident that put me on somebody else's radar, pardon the pun, bats, radar. Um,
Sonar, radar.
well, they taught me how to be responsible and how not be ashamed of what I am. So there was always donors around.
So you got lucky that you
I
weren't
got
like
very
alone.
lucky. I got very lucky. I mean, this woman that I was under, her name is Ashanti White Mantle. She literally spent 3 hours talking to my mom, letting my mom know about what was going on and how it was going on and what she could do to help. And
That's awesome.
one thing led to another, and here I is.
And then you became her new children, her new child's, in a way.
In a way,
Spiritually.
spiritually and almost empathically, I was her child.
Yeah. Like beyond blood or beyond skin. That's a question. What is the best vampire tour in New Orleans nowadays? Jim asks.
Well, considering Cedric has left, Cedric's now in Gettysburg. I would have
Oh,
to
wow.
investigate that and come back later. I don't know who the best tour would be right now for vampires. Haunted History has the most distinguished tour. It's the longest running tour of vampires. But Free Tours by Foot also have a vampire, ghost, and haunted tour. So, just depends. Haunted History actually goes through more of the history of the vampire happenings in the city.
That's the one me and Eileen would want to do. For sure. The historical value. So,
Now, go ahead, Rosie.
Well, I don't have I was just gonna ask about like how does how do you marry voodoo and vampirism and whatever other, like, I guess, heightened state that you're in? I call it a heightened state. I don't mean like drugs. I mean
don't.
like connected.
They're all facets of the whole. Like every gem has facets. In order to get the whole me, they're all just a different facet. So the only place they're married or meet, for lack of a better word, is in me.
Okay. Good answer. Yeah.
Now, is there anything that that you really prefer a donor to eat or drink prior to your feedings?
It depends on the donor. I like to make sure that they're drinking a lot of water before they come. So at least a day in advance, they need to start drinking a lot of water. Eating things that are more sweet, like fresh fruits, works best. Steer away from salts, things of that nature.
A certain medication.
I'm not worried about the medications.
Blood
If
thinners.
people take their medication, if people, well, blood thinners, yeah, that would be a little bit weird. Thankfully, nobody I'm getting donated from is on anything like blood thinners. So
Yeah,
Now,
I didn't know if that make it taste weird.
when the pandemic hit, and everything kind of closed down and people couldn't go around, how did that affect you and the other vampire populations?
I had my donors.
They still
Other
came
people
over
weren't so. Other people weren't so lucky. Yeah, ultraviolet lights and Lysol work really well. So
I didn't know if you could like refrigerate it or freeze it or anything like that to get
there
you
are
through.
some that do. There are some that do. We got people that have pretty much done everything, including almost make like gelatin molds of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of funny. Looks like that vampire scene where the guy's cutting what looks like in Blade 2, where the guy's cutting that thing that looks like cranberry, and it's all
Yeah.
kind of
That's
looks
what
like
I
that.
was picturing. Yeah. Or I was thinking about in iZombie where she actually jellified
Yes.
her zombie, her brain, and she made a jello mold out of it and put probably like sherry or something.
That's kind of what I was thinking about.
Yeah. Flambe of zombie or something. I don't know what she does, but kind of like that. Yeah. You gotta get creative, I guess.
Yeah. But beyond that, we live like everybody else. We got bills to pay, so we go to work. We go
kinda
grocery
wish-
shopping.
You
We
wish
go
you had
grocery
that
shopping.
supernatural ability that you could go tell the bill collectors, I don't owe you money. Understand that. And it'd be over with.
That would be fun.
Yeah, it would.
You're missing
That
the
would
good
be
part
fun.
of here.
What is the relationship? Tim asks, what is the relationship there between the police and the vampire community?
They ignore us.
Kind of like, hey, they're not out.
I've got a police officer that shows up every feeding just so he can pray for the food. You know, because he's also an ordained minister, so he comes and he does this big
Yeah.
prayer for everybody. And
That's awesome.
I try to stay on good terms with the police because I like to do things like, follow the law. Yeah. So beyond that, and they pretty much let us do our thing and we let them do their thing, and we turn in anybody we find that's doing bad things.
How do you like vet your donors?
Oh, that's a process. I take time to
That's a
actually
good
get to know the
question.
people. I take time to actually get to know the people. Like my last donor, it took us over 6 months before he even got to be a donor.
Wow.
So
Sure, there's some crazies out there that'll be like, "Oh, I'm your donor," just to get close
Yep.
enough to you to,
Yeah.
try to do harm or something.
Well,
yep.
some people are probably also equally like interested in the mystery of just being fed on. Some people probably just
If they want to see that, there's a few of the shows that I've done that actually have me feeding on people, and it
Wow.
shows it.
Yeah, I saw on YouTube, but pulled up. I think it was National Geographic, or it might have not have been. It might have been the History Channel.
Well, there's one on History Channel. There's one on Amazon Prime. It's called Vampires New Orleans. You can actually look that one up. Episode 3 shows how I feed.
Vampires New Orleans. Chrissy said, "How do you know they don't have any diseases?" That's probably a process or part of it.
Testing. All our donors get tested regularly. So we keep them tested, and generally I go test with my donors so that they know everything's copacetic with me too.
Yeah.
It's an issue of trust. You build a trust. Yeah, most of my
Reminds me of a
donors.
tattoo parlor.
Yeah, All right, I got 3 minutes to get ready for the rest of my day at work.
Mhm.
So I will let you ladies go.
Thank you for joining us
Thank you.
today.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed
Bye.
it.
Anytime.
Bye.
Just let me know.
We'll
Have a
be
good
coming
day.
All
your
right.
way one day.
Bye.
We
Okay.
will. Bye.
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 I was wondering if he was just gonna still be on there, like, "Hey, I'm just gonna do my thing, and I'm still here." That was
That was
interesting.
interesting. Huh?
Yeah, I had another question too. I wanted to know if, like, after he does actually drink or whatever, if his other stuff is heightened, like readings and intuition is heightened. Like what actually, grounds him, or does that ground him, or does that open him up more? So I feel like I do certain things that I know, hey, Paranormal Nation Radio, that make me more aware. Like sometimes I do fasting, or like hermiting. I call it hermiting, staying away from people and not talking to anybody for the whole day. If I'm going to go somewhere that I've never been, like an investigation or whatever.
So, write all that down. I mean, it can be a part 2.
He'll be on the
Yeah.
Petri dish on the 15th of December.
Yay, awesome. And I need Howard to give me some dates. Howard needs to give me some unscheduled dates for Dee's Ghost. Also,
He's not.
he's MIA, or he's out of service.
Yeah.
He's still upset because the Bills beat the Saints.
Okay, now that I don't have to ask a lot of questions.
You can put 'em in now.
I didn't melt the stuff that actually makes them mold to your tooth.
Well, because you did it so late.
Yeah, well, I had kids to do. Kids to stuff.
Kids to stuff.
Kids to do stuff. Kids to, yeah, kids to do stuff with, I guess.
I mean, what'd you do? You just took your kids and stuffed them, like. And
No,
left
it's
them in
not
your
that
house?
easy. They'd come back. They wouldn't stay down. They wouldn't stay stuffed. They're like
They figure out how to rip it out.
Tasmanian devil. They're like, around me. Just kicking everything up where they go. I don't know which tooth they on. Anyways, yeah, I was going to wear these because they cement onto your teeth, but I'll save those for another day.
So, yeah, we got to figure out when you're available, because it's a lot closer for me than you. Figure out when you're available. And
yeah, I'm really waiting just for like a class that I'm supposed to be taking that's going to be in New Orleans, and it's probably going to be January or February, so that's why I haven't gone anywhere, done anything, because I've been trying to get everything lined up for that. For just going on some kind of orders for military, it's a process. Like you have to square everything away, and it takes like, a lot of work before you actually leave to go anywhere to make sure everything's squared away, so that when you're there, you don't have to worry about it or deal with it at all.
yeah.
You can just focus on, being there and not have to worry about back at home issues and stuff going on. But
So you coming to New Orleans?
yeah, sometime, hopefully January or February. They don't have any classes until January. They're closed right now. So January and February is when I saw the classes opening up, and then they have them in March, probably in April. But they're needing me to train to do this quicker than, like, as soon as possible, I think, because they need somebody to take this admin job. So I was going to read some really quickly, like, because we started late, just some of the stuff that I wrote down when we were doing research or whatever, since we were interviewing him or whatever, and I didn't want to interrupt him to read stuff that he probably already knows. We did some research, and it was saying that a Grando Alilovic, or Gir Grando, in 1579 to 1656 was the first recorded, like historically recorded vampire. Just for anybody that wants to know about vampire stuff, since Tim wasn't on here today to give us his archives of knowledge. And then before that, Vlad the Impaler was known. A lot of people call him, like a vampire, which technically he wasn't, but That was in the 1400s, and it was because he liked to put people's heads on stakes and stuff to be impaled. But he didn't actually, he dipped his bread in their blood and ate it, but he didn't actually, he didn't vampire out on them. I guess you'd say, like, drink their blood and bite them and stuff like that. Or he didn't, I don't think anybody messed with him when he was buried. They probably, weren't, trying to dig him back. Well, I don't know. They might have been afraid he'd come back and kill them all. So they dug him up and tried to make sure he was going to stay put. But most vampires back in the 1500s, or the people that were thought to be vampires, they'd go back and try to make sure that they're dead. And they weren't going to come back to get people in the middle of the night while they were asleep. Or stalk and feed on innocent people.
Now, sometimes, people would be accused of being the vampires because when they were buried, they were actually still alive.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they'd go back and look at the body, of course, they weren't in the same position they were laid in. They had blood, everywhere from trying to claw themselves out of the coffins. And that's when they started putting the bales. Isn't that right? When they started putting the bales on the coffin so people could breathe in, and they'd have someone sit out there.
Or I think they would actually have a person like an undertaker or whatever, somebody that watched them. I think that's probably where the Undertaker came up, like someone that actually sits there and they dig at nighttime. Who does that?
That would be some of our friends, probably.
I'm not an undertaker. I don't take them there. I just keep them there. I'm an underkeeper. When they go down, they're staying there.
Yes.
I think also, though, I've seen in some movies that they had cast vampires into the ocean with shackles and really heavy things on them to the bottom of the ocean or the bottom of the sea so that they couldn't come back, that they're weighted down by that stuff. I've seen a lot of that in movies and stuff. I feel like that probably came from somewhere in reality.
And the thing is, I'm not going to say every, but I'd say 80% of legends and all, there has to be some type of truth. People don't just sit around and just go, "Oh, let me think about this."
Unless they're on a trip, no.
Well, yeah, that is true. They had some really hard stuff back in the day too.
Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. No, I'm just kidding. No, I watched a movie not long ago. It was called The Boys from County Hell, and it's about an English, vampire that was buried. I don't know. I didn't watch the very beginning of it very well. But this English vampire was buried a long time ago, and they had to bury this vampire in a certain place on this certain land, and they had to stack these certain rocks on top of the vampire, and no one was allowed to go there around it or play around it because they were afraid it was going to be disturbed and awaken the vampire or release the vampire, because it was basically stuck there. And someone played around there and they cut their fingers or something like that, and the blood gravitationally pulled toward the vampire and woke it back up. Yeah, I thought that was interesting too. I've seen something else like that in the past, but I can't remember what it was. But yeah, I guess the craziest stuff, you just have to look it up and really dig deep, or buy a vampire magazine that I found the other day. It's got a lot of cool stuff in it. It's called Vampires. Every generation, every era, every movie you can think of, and books and stuff. So thank you everybody for joining us today, and we were sorry we were late. We had some technical difficulties. The link wouldn't come up for our guest, and Howard too for some reason. I don't know why. It's weird because me and Howard's friends on Facebook. I don't know why.
Because it's Howard.
Maybe it was. He was preoccupied. Hey, there's a late joiner. Hey Greg, how's it going? I don't know if anybody has any questions out here because we started 10 minutes late. And if y'all wanted to go to 4:10, in case somebody wants to ask us anything. Blessed be Chrissy. Crazy girl. She's funny. And I don't know what we're going to do next Sunday, but we'll figure out what you guys want to talk about.
Jackie, you got anything on your mind?
No, I just like the interview. Papa Zara is a very unique person.
Yeah, he is.
You should see him in person.
Well,
He's funny.
hopefully,
He's funny and everything.
hopefully I'll be go down there and snag you and leave Howard at home and we'll go party.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
And Howard's gonna
Yeah.
stay
We'll
home.
go chase the blood trails. Find all the vampires. That'd be exciting. I really, really want to do that. And I need to find out when my niece is going to be available too. They were supposed to be going to New Orleans sometime around now, but it was actually like a month ago, and they were like, well, since they had the hurricane, I don't know if we're going to go now. So, is this a new show? You want to answer?
Well, we've had about 5 episodes.
Yeah. 4, I think.
Yeah. So
4.
we started actually Halloween night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You have to watch us, Greg, on Sundays at 3 Eastern or 3 Central Standard Time and 4 Eastern Time. I don't remember where he's from.
But I said we know Central a lot better than the other.
Yeah, I don't remember where Greg lives at. I don't remember. Greg, where do you live at? I forget. He has a podcast too, and I've talked to him before. But yeah.
And there's usually 4 of us. One's missing this week. Crystal.
Yes. She had an emergency come up. And if anybody that's watching or that watches our show ever has a subject they want us to talk about or research, we can certainly do that. Just tell us, put in the comments or message one of us and tell us that you want us to talk about something or you want us to research something. And we will.
Yep.
As long as it's
Just tell
not
us what you
crazy, too
want.
crazy. I'm pretty...
Even then, we'll still do it probably.
Lakeville in Northern Illinois is where he lives. He lives near Crystal, sort of. In that neck of the woods, where it's colder than it is here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
colder.
When I was in shorts last Sunday.
Yeah.
It was raining and cold last night.
Yeah, we actually had a fire going.
She wouldn't know that because she was drinking and shooting darts.
That didn't mean she wasn't cold, just because she was focused.
I was throwing axes, and I was thinking about Howard's face on the target.
You were throwing axes. I love doing that.
Yes.
I'm really good at it, too. Like, really good at it.
I was really good when I thought about Howard as I threw.
No, I just, I don't know. I guess because I've practiced a lot, and I have, this thing that I do where it goes.
Darts are on Tuesday. Axes was last night.
Yeah. I was actually driving by a place yesterday asking my daughter if her and her boyfriend wanted a certificate to this axe throwing place for Christmas for the two of them. Or they'd rather go to a movie or dinner. And she's like, we like food. That's what she said. We like food, Mom.
Well, you can get food at the axe throwing places a lot of times.
Yeah. I don't know if you can at this one or not.
Oh, ours has a bar and grill with it.
Yeah.
Really,
this one's really new. It started right before coronavirus. It's really, really new. I think they just opened back up not long ago. But I don't know. I need to go back in there and check it out.
That and the escape rooms. Those are my favorite things.
I love to do those too. Yeah. But I like the scary ones. I don't like the regular escape rooms.
Yeah.
I can't figure them out.
But I want to go to this place called Break It out in our mall. And, it's basically, it's where they have all this stuff. You take stuff and break it.
Wow.
What? That would be a good stress
reliever.
reliever.
Something, right?
The only problem is you're paying people so you can destroy something. But that's
Yes.
not done it.
That is awesome. That must be so relieving.
I know.
For real.
I'm
That would
sure
be
I could
so
probably
relieving.
Buy some stuff and break bottles too.
Shoot them.
Ooh, there you go.
Just set
You get to
stuff
hit
up you don't
people
like
with
and
it
shoot
too?
it.
My neighbors
She's
are
like, I gotta make it personal. I gotta hit with it. I can't just shoot it and let it go. I gotta hit with it. I can't just break it and let it go.
Strangle something that you're supposed to break though. That's strangling. That's oh, I'm sorry.
You could break it if it's not gonna cut your fingers off by strangling it.
Yeah, I'm back on the serial killer conversations we had.
Okay. That's funny. We all like that. And Crystal does too. So we'll pick a topic, guys, and we'll just go with it next week. We might put it out there or make a special little banner for it if we can
Rosie's
find somebody.
awesome with those banners.
I just was like, something with vampires on it. It wasn't even really scary, but it was cute, so
Yeah, it was.
that's all that mattered. Yeah. So if anybody has a subject though that they want to throw our way, don't wait until the last minute because we'll already have picked one. But tell us the subject and we'll get to it eventually, and we'll do the research and we'll go over it and talk about it. Totally. So hopefully paranormal related, but don't have to be. Everybody, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye.
For watching and
Thank
please
you.
share it out.
Yeah, come back next Sunday, Greg.
Bye.
Same time, same place. Everybody keep it creepy. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. I can't think.